Hey guys, welcome back to Envision Prototypes. My name is Nick. Today we're going to be working on the front hood versus the back hood, which is also called the boot or the trunk, depending where you are. When it comes to this hood, there's a lot going on here, a lot of dents. Looks like somebody stepped on it over there. There's a big size 12. You can just see the outline of that. Something's going on over here. This area here looks like someone was using it as a push vehicle because it's all pushed in. This corner earlier, it was kind of wrinkled that way. There's a crease there. So we've been slowly working it out, pulled it out, straightened it up so that we could create the front. But we have these areas up here to kind of deal with. Now, before showing you how to go about fixing this, I'm gonna go over some tools. You need a sanding block, nice long one preferably, a couple dollies, flat ones, flat face hammer, a couple slappers. This one has a little more curvature than this one. This one really moves a lot of metal, nice and big, nice and heavy. And most importantly, you're gonna need a straight edge. I don't know if you guys can see it from over there, but we got about a ½ inch dip starting about here and moving back to about there. Now, you might think, oh, just plenish the center out and it'll fix it. Not quite. The area around where it's gone down, you have to find out where it is exactly, because that area is what's been stretched. As you push down, it pulled the metal outward. I'm exaggerating, and that allowed it to come down. So what we need to do is shrink, this one not so much, but I'm guessing this area here, just from experience, you're gonna need to shrink this area to allow that to come back up. The center trim area, it's not bad. We are gonna keep the trim line. We're gonna fabricate a piece of hand-shaped aluminum, get it in there, polish it, maybe not, I'm not sure yet. A couple dents right there, again, have to be worked out. So it's a matter of a process of elimination. This area here, most of it's out. It popped out, but there's a bunch of wrinkles going on. We have the peak hasn't been destroyed, but these wrinkles have to be worked out. So I think what we're gonna do first, and this little welded area here, where the spot welds were cracked, ripped down, so we're gonna have to fix that. So what we're gonna work on is get the hood up in the air and work out the major creases first, kind of get them out. Put a dolly up on top, work them up. Then we're gonna go ahead and shrink this area with the shrinking disc. Now, if you don't have a shrinking disc, might be an opportunity to get one. You can use a set of torches. I'm not using torches, haven't used torches for a long time because the shrinking disc really does a gentle job. Back in the day when I was much younger, yeah, we used to use torches and quench with cold rag the heated area to shrink the metal down. But you have to be really careful because you can go too far too fast and it would destroy the panel. So believe me, I know. When I was about 10 years old, I learned the hard way. And the other thing is, normally I'll work with a bare metal surface, but to help illustrate the point, because you can't really see what's going on from your perspective on the couch, a shiny surface getting more shiny, it's kind of hard. We're gonna leave it as this black epoxy coated surface and kind of sand through it into the metal underneath. And that'll help illustrate what we're doing. So first off, I'm gonna take the sanding block, that's sharp. And there we have our starting point. I'll bring you guys in. So as you can see, all these really shiny areas, those are high spots. The dark areas are low spots, and the really dark spots like that are really low areas, like that there. So, like I mentioned, we're gonna start with the creases at the center of the hood there, one here, and kind of bring the major ones up. Then we'll worry about shrinking that really shiny spot to allow that center to come up. If we start stretching that, we're gonna actually create more material and it'll drop down. We don't want that. We want that to come up. So we need to shrink that, allowing that to come together and come up. And that side's not too bad, the right side, but this side here, pretty bad. We'll have to work out this crease here, like I mentioned, because that's going to affect the tension within the hood too. Now this is really floppy right now because there is no front structure. It's been taken out. Sometimes you're lucky, you can sneak a dolly in or a slapper in, work something out, but there's so much happening here that it's not good. Now with this area here, I'm going to use an off-dolly technique to bring that metal up. I don't want to peen that metal that's in the little depression area. I want to bring it up. So I'm going to use an off-dolly technique, bump it up from the underside, and hold the dolly just to one side of that and allow it to come up. If you want to learn more about on and off dolly techniques, check out my transparent sheet metal. That's right, you heard me right, transparent sheet metal video, cards up above. After you watch this video, you can watch that one and see exactly what I'm talking about when I'm doing on and off dolly techniques. And that way it'll give you some perspective. So then you can come back to this one and actually appreciate what we're doing here. Now, if you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm doing, so I'm going to keep going. You don't need much. The other question you might have is, how do I know where my hammer is? I can't see through this metal because it's been painted. Well, it's a matter of feel. It's experience and just working with a hammer and dolly for years and years and years. You eventually know exactly where it is just by the feel of it. Now, some guys prefer not to wear gloves. You see how dirty these things get? With these thin gloves, I still have the feel of a normal hand without a glove. Better. You see the oil can happening because this has been caved down in this area. I'm just trying to take care of those little spots. There, that's on dolly technique. You hear the peen of the hammer right there versus that off dolly. But like I said, check out the other video in more detail to get more detail. Replacing the dolly on the high spot and bumping the low area up extremely carefully. There's a low spot here. You guys can see that, barely. There's a high spot here, around there, but low there. What I've done is placed the dolly from the underside, just underneath that low spot. I'm working the sheet metal down around it, bringing that up. You can have hours and hours of fun. Let me get the sanding block and see how that looks. That's it. High build will take care of the rest of that. It is so close. Already I can see by sighting through it that it's coming up. I'm not bashing up on it, I'm just working the metal. It's a little bit tighter too, that's good. Oh, I like that. All right, before I get into the shrinking disc, I'm going to fix the front. There's a brace through here. Let's go back to the front. There's a big crease in here. I'm just going to put the dolly in behind it and work the metal upward. I don't feel like turning myself upside down to get in there. I'm turning my head from side to side to catch the reflections as it's coming up. We're down, we've removed about 50% of that crease. We're not wailing on it, we don't have a big hammer, just very gentle techniques. It can be very therapeutic when things are going right. When things go south, like you try to figure out what caused the dent or where you should start, not so therapeutic. There's a structure in here, so it's making it very difficult to get to the very edge. We might have to, cut our losses at that point. But most of that crease is gone. That's on dolly. I'm plenishing the metal, bringing it up, restoring the curvature. The other thing that happened is, because that crease down, that pushed that out. So if we push that back in, that crease should pop up a little bit more. Let's hit that with the sanding block. There's still something there. Not too shabby. That's it. There's a very small crease, but like I said, there's a structure, a channel to strengthen the edge, and I really cannot get in there. Had to cool the metal off, it's getting hot. That's it. Let's work this area up. Oh, that's rough. I can see where my slapper made contact by these little marks here, little telltale signs. The smoother, brighter area, not the shiny spot, but the brighter area, those are still low, and those really bright areas, well, those are just high. So we have to bring these down, that up to this level here. Say 85% of that dent is gone now. Okay, low spot there, a couple there, but we're getting to about 90%. See, we brought that up over there. This is feeling better here, but not where I want it just yet. Low spot there. Okay. Okay. Ooh, one more there. Okay, I'm going to pull out the pneumatic plenisher, kind of clean this up a little bit, just smooth it out, and then we'll get the magical shrinking disc and take care of that over there. Just by fixing this has brought that whole center up. There's a low spot here though, just looking at it this way. Be careful with the rad. Yeah, right there. It's kind of lopsided. Let's see what we can do here. See how it's bouncing up? That's not good. Again, on and off dolly here, off dolly there. I'm not keen. Just reconfiguring the levels. I'm running out of arm. That was a close one. Oh, yes. So what this tool is, it's a pneumatic plenisher. We created it back in 2015-16. We did a roof for 1944 sedan delivery, full 8-foot sheet of steel, wheeled up, installed on that truck. And it was quite a job, and this helped us plenish out the welds around the perimeter. It's basically a palm nailer joined up with a die grinder, off his chair back for a hardened piece of steel, and a piece of 3/8 plate. Put this together. So instead of doing this, it does all that for you. All you have to do is control it and hold this thing up. There's a bit of weight here, but that's what does all the work for you. This comes in really handy. Once you've done most of your work, got everything all, where the levels where they have to be, this just helps smooth out any little wrinkles you might have. So let's pass a sanding block over it, see how it looks, and then we'll get the shrinking disc and finalize. And that's it. A little bit going on there. We get the shrinking disc, see what that says. Now, when it comes to the shrinking disc, all you're doing is gliding it over the areas that are high, and they'll heat up along the low areas to come up. And what some guys do, they'll introduce water, a wet rag, and cool it with a wet rag or a damp rag. I don't want to introduce any moisture into the body panels at this point. What we're going to use is compressed air and just cool it off with a bit of cool air. And we have a low spot in there. I don't know if I can get to that one. Right there. So the way I'm working this upper area here, it might look like I've got the weight of the grinder down and just standing there moving it back and forth. Hardly. 95% of the weight of the grinder is supported in my hands. I'm just coming down and I'm feeling the metal. Now this hood has a curvature to it. I want this to come up, this to come down. So I'm focusing my grinder, a bit of an angle over here, heating this up, allowing that to come up. Until you use a shrinking disc, then you'll experience the magic behind it. You know what this is? No, you don't. This is the structure. So when this got bumped down, it actually bent the hood through here against the understructure that was previously in here. We've removed it since. I want to get this done. So we're gonna have to take and address that. It's very subtle, but I can feel it, a line right through there. And as for that area, we're gonna have to take this hood, flip it upside down on the table, and work the center line. Because what's happened is, when I got stepped on, it opened things up. So we got to take and recrease this chrome strip area, bring it all back together. Because when you work a panel, you take a panel, you wheel it in the English wheel, you stay away from the edges. When you wheel the center, what happens? It grows up. You're trapping the material within a perimeter, and that'll allow it to come up. Same thing has to happen here. We need to create and shrink the material on each side, and that'll come back up. I'm not touching that with the shrinking disc, dollies, nothing. Nothing wrong with that. It's here and here. I'll show you. So over there, and you can see the bright shiny spot over there. So we bring that together, we shrink that a little bit more, the center will come up naturally. This side is perfect. We don't have to do anything there. One little low spot there we got to bring up, right over here. But again, we'll do that when it's on the table. Same thing here. It's kind of hard to reach up with my hand, so we'll work that out the last little bit on the table. But you can see what we started with, and yeah, we got to weld that. So you can see what we started with and where we're going. The rest of that hood is good over there. That's good over there. We just need to address the center line. We didn't exactly finish this hood. I don't want to take this off and then have to realign it all again. Everything's fitting up to the front area there. I want to get the fenders on, get the front fascia on, do a few things there, then take this hood off, flip it upside down, address the center. So I hope you learned something in this episode. If you did, hit the like button. Hammer and dolly techniques take a long time to get the hang of, and it's mileage. Just keep working with it. You'll get better as you move, as you work with it. And as for the shrinking disc, a little trick. If you're stuck and you have a very small area to do, take 2 flat sanding discs, the 5 or 6 inch discs, put them face to face, grit side together. Mount them on a rubber disc, on a rubber back disc, and variable speed grinder will accomplish the same thing, kind of. You don't have to get a stainless steel metal one if you have a small area to work. If you're doing this more full time, yeah, get the real thing. But a little trick behind everything. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it. Catch you in the next one, guys.